outing. It's Cloudy. Welcome back to the channel. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't check out my last video, make sure you're going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit a like, subscribe, and put something in the comments. Today, we got a video from my boy, Everything Always. Breaking. Sony officially addresses Spider-Man spin-off failures.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. You know, it's always been shocking to me, and especially over the last 10 or 15 years, as it applies to the superhero genre, when huge CEOs
right
in
here
charge of delivering on this content and delivering entertainment to a specific fan base are so lost on exactly what the fan base wants and how to handle the IP.
This is why I feel like, this is why I feel like Sony, Marvel, they should really look into hiring fans or YouTubers that do Marvel, stuff content, because they connect more with the fans. You know what I'm saying? They have more time to connect with the fans. They have fans commenting under their stuff you know what I mean? So they get that audience engagement a little bit more frequently. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's what they should do. Hire Cosmic Wonder, hire Everything All. You know what I'm saying? Hire me. You know what I'm saying?
Again, both in the divisions at the early days over at Marvel, before
2025 is here. We need some good
movies. He's in, and with the old guard of DC and Warner Brothers, and specifically over at Sony. Where real recently we found out, and immediately after Kraven's release, that Sony could have used a Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, really any Spider-Man they wanted in the Spider-Verse movies. They just decided not to because they thought that maybe the fans wouldn't be able to buy in. And while that sounds as ridiculous,
bro, everybody was saying they wanted Spider-Man. Why wasn't Spider-Man in the movies? And this whole entire time they could have used them, and they just didn't use them. They could have used Andrew Garfield. They could have used Tobey Maguire. They could have used Tom Holland. They could even put Miles Morales in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But they just...
as it actually is. Unfortunately, the rumors that they were going to end their Sony Spider-Verse live-action films wasn't correct, as it was soon confirmed after that rumor circulated that not only are they not done making these films, but they might even reboot the whole thing, and where you would hope that they had learned their lesson the last outing on these films that
bombed. Know what it means when they reboot. They most
because the chairperson for Sony Pictures Entertainment, that's right, the CEO, Tony Vinciquerra, came out with some quotes recently on why the Spider-Verse films didn't work, and he is completely lost, if not downright wrong. We're going to break down his latest quotes and why apparently Sony has zero idea still why the Spider-Man Spider-Verse live-action films didn't work. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, guys. Thank you to everyone who subscribed in the last couple of months. We've been gaining subscribers and growing at a breakneck pace. My analytics indicate there are still some of you who watch the channel daily who maybe haven't hit the sub button yet, which is totally cool. I realized I was doing the exact same thing with channels that I watch daily. I would just kindly invite you to do so if you've been rocking with the channel for a while. If you like the content here, hit that sub button. It's the #1 thing you can do to support content creators, and I would sincerely appreciate it.
I'm done.
Okay, so again, these were the latest quotes from the CEO and chairperson for Sony Entertainment, Tony Vinciquerra. This is what he had to say about films like Kraven, Madam Web, and Morbius underperforming, okay, let's just say it, bombing at the box office. He said, quote, "Madam Web underperformed in theaters because the press just crucified it. It was not a bad film, and it did great on Netflix. For some reason, the press decided that they didn't want us making these films out of Kraven and Madam Web, and the critics just destroyed them. They also did it with Venom, but the audience loved Venom and made Venom a massive hit. These are not terrible films. They were just destroyed by critics and the press for some reason." Now, it's hard to know where...
That's fucking delusional, bro. Madam Web sucked. Let's be honest, bro. Sydney Sweeney in there, everybody was happy about that. But she didn't really do much. Bro, the whole movie, they pretty much ran. And then the movie ended. That movie, low-key, could have been 35 minutes.
To start with this quote, because there's a ton of other things he could have said in context and still try to put a positive spin on it. Like, it was a really bad decision by Sony in the first place to try to make disconnected movies from the MCU when they weren't going to include any Spider-Man at all, and it was their decision not to include Spider-Man, and that maybe they should have thought that out, or when they saw with Morbius it wasn't working, include a Spider-Man, or the fact that they decided not to bring back Andrew Garfield Spider-Man after the very public affection that was shown after Spider-Man No Way Home, and simply used him as the counterpart.
Like, well, Morbius, bro, after he put his best friend or brother, whatever, to sleep, they could have prolonged the story to where, like, Spider-Man somehow joined the story, or he ran into Spider-Man, or, you know what I'm saying? They could have did a lot with Spider-Man in these movies, and they just like, bro, we don't feel like making an extra hour of this damn movie, bro. Like that's what it seemed like. It seemed like they were just too lazy to do it that way, you
Spider-Man
know.
in some of these
That's
films,
why I think they
which
should
they
just made
legally
TV
could have done,
shows
and I'm
for
sure
some of
if the
these
money was right,
things.
Andrew Garfield would have signed up for, because let's face it, Tobey and Andrew are probably coming back for Avengers Secret Wars. He failed to say any of this and just say that these weren't terrible films, they were unfairly criticized from the press. Now guys, let's face it, there's a reason that they don't have Academy Awards given to Marvel, because really the sort of whole Hollywood film industry has snubbed its nose and looked down at superhero cinema for a while, regardless of the numbers they do at the box office. That's why they've struggled to get Academy Awards. That's why Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. said, no, don't do a campaign for an Oscar for me for Avengers Endgame. He knew better. He knew that wasn't going down, so he said, don't even do it in the first place. They had to know that the disposition from the critics, if you make a good superhero movie, isn't going to be overwhelmingly affectionate. It's just that they're going to have to go with the masses on this because numbers are what they are. Sometimes critics pan things that the fans will then embrace and say, no, the critics were wrong. It does happen. In the case of superhero films, you should never expect that the critics are going to say, this is great cinema, regardless of how good the movie is. But the numbers don't lie. People didn't go to
let's be honest, bro. It's superhero. It's gonna be some cringe-worthy stuff in the movies, bro. It has to be. It's superhero stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's just, I don't know. That's part of their superpower, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like they do drop the ball when it comes to like what characters they should bring back, what actors they should bring back, what they should do. Like they really, like it be thrown at them the ideas, and they just be like, nah, the people don't want that. And the idea came from the people. I feel like the directors and producers of the movies don't watch the movies as much as the citizens. You know what I'm saying? The audience will probably watch like 6-7 times within the week. A producer and director probably don't even have that much time to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it's very important to listen to the audience, bro, because they watch the movies a lot more. They have more time to watch it. They have more time to break stuff down that you probably don't have time to really do right now. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's important, bro.
Craven because of how bad Madame Web was. People didn't go see Madame Web because they lost interest
Especially when it comes to the
Morbius.
superheroes,
People who did go to see Morbius at the box office were let down because these movies are superhero movies in a time where they should be connected to at least each other and to their antagonist, what would be the counterpoint.
Yeah, because now they got to make more
in
stuff
Spider-Man.
to connect.
Now you have a disconnected
know?
universe that doesn't tie to the MCU, where the major point of Marvel interest is,
and now they got to make
tie
extra
to
films,
the
TV
superhero
shows
for which
to
all of
connect
these
all those
characters
dots back
exist as
together.
spin-offs anyway. It was such poor foresight.
But I did give you ideas
in the
to do
beginning
it.
to try to make this work, and yes, Venom worked. I would argue that he is one of the few characters that was popular enough with the pairing on Tom Hardy, and that first film that came out really.
This is why I said Sony should focus on the symbiote
stuff, people just went
they
to keep going back to see it. But guys, the more I watch Venom 3, or at least the tried for the rewatch, the less I liked it. It just seemed like a parody of itself with too many callbacks back to the original franchise, and it wasn't a terrible movie either, but it wasn't as good as the first one, and even still, that was based on the popularity of Venom.
Like all of them.
You couldn't
the
suspect
third
that
one was
characters
good.
like
I just
Morbius and Craven.
I just wish in the third Venom movie, The Last Dance, I wish the other symbiotes had more screen time, because some of the symbiotes that we saw look dope as fuck, bro. Like the Rock symbiote, the lava one, bro. It was a lot of dope elements of symbiotes, and I wish they used more of those. You know, I wish they put more of those symbiotes into the story. Like maybe somebody else gets one of them symbiotes and they become a part of the like what if like they could put Venom. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Venom really don't have to be an evil character. You know, he don't really have to be the villain. I feel like he should be a part of the Midnight Suns, and they should add like 2 more Venom characters. Not Venom, but you know, symbiote characters. But they killed all the symbiotes off, bro. Like I don't know why they did that. All them symbiotes had potential for a longer story with Tom Hardy. You know, but I wonder maybe Tom Hardy didn't want to keep doing the movies no more. Maybe he kind of wanted a vacation. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to carry that kind of weight and without a Spider-Man character. Still, they pressed on. They absolutely bombed. And instead of just admitting all of these mistakes, which is what you would hope from a company that wants to keep making these films, the CEO just doubles down and says, well, the press killed them and for no reason. No, the press killed those films because the press never really liked superhero films to begin with. and they were bad films, people didn't go see them because you earned a reputation for making bad films. It had nothing to do with being unfairly treated, and the numbers don't lie. Let's face it, guys. He's saying it did great on Netflix, but people will just watch whatever hits Netflix, including how they did with Morbius, that ended up having Sony sending it back to theaters because they thought it was having some sort of renaissance or revival moment. It was just getting mean. No one really enjoyed these films at all.
Bad, bro.
A reboot is the best
and
thing.
You know how I know Madam Web was bad? Because I love movies. So when I like a movie, I'm finna watch it at least more than once in a week. I watched Madam Web once and I shit you not. I don't even know what the ending part is because I cut it off like the last 20 minutes because the movie was bad.
But the second best thing they could do is make that reboot in the whole entire time and connect it to the main Marvel continuity. They would be lucky at this point if Marvel actually would let them do that. More likely the case, they are stuck just rebooting this forever. So hopefully, even in the face of these stupid quotes that definitely show that the CEO is completely out to sea on what happened with these films, they need to put a Spider-Man in them. He doesn't need to be the main character, but he needs to be in the movies, because without a Spider-Man, there's never going to be enough interest for just the villains of these Spider-Man movies fighting against other spin-off villains for themselves. It just isn't going to work. It didn't work the first time. It's definitely not going to work the second time. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below if you agree with me that this is...
Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Just like he said, but this Sony CEO, bro, you gotta... Come on, bro. You know Madam Web was trash. But stop blaming us, bro.